Well, Allegra,
Hello.
I wanted to talk with you because the whole OTA direct booking mix, loyalty programs, personalization. It's never been more important, and it's all tied to a CRM. And I get the sense that most hotels aren't leveraging a CRM, and those that do are stuck with poor integrations into other applications that yield very little. And I don't know, almost none to the CRS, which I think is unique. And then you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I also believe that SHR is the only provider with who has developed a suite of applications, CRS, CRM, and RMS, and maintains a deeper integration that produces better results to make these decisions and to drive revenue and getting to know your guest and maintaining guests, getting them to come back and things like that. And so I wanted to talk with you about that uniqueness.
Okay.
And again, if at any point if I'm wrong, that's okay.
No, I you're right. So something that SHR has done that I think is, I can't make the claim that we're the only providers in the world that have done this, but I certainly feel from my own usage as a client of SHR prior to being on the SHR team that there is this uniqueness to having our own development teams that have created our solutions from the ground up. We've not purchased these solutions and then tried to make them talk to each other. We developed these solutions so that they would be native to each other. And why that's such an important key distinction is because at the data level, where everything is captured, where everything's stored, and how everything communicates, typically this is done through some type of an interface and connectivity, and you have to build that out, and your teams have to make item A from system A talk to a like item in another system. And with SHR's applications, that isn't the case because they built them to be native. So they natively talk to each other. They have the same, while they are independent systems and can be used independently, when used together, we don't have the complexity of trying to tie two systems together that were never meant to be tied together, for instance.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so what problem did you set out to solve with the combination of the CRS and the CRM?
Two problems, actually. One would be just to resolve fragmented data. So you have the CRS is your hub for all of your distribution, all of your reservations that are coming into the system, regardless of how they're getting in there. That is all data that is coming in through the CRS. And so problem number one was to be able to enrich CRM data with information from your central distribution platform, right? So you don't have any gaps here in the data you can collect. Problem number two was manual effort. So with the two systems being, again, built together, the CRS is able to actually tell the CRM about the data that it carries or houses. So for instance, if you're on a channel, let's just say a booking engine, for example, and you have a rate code and a room type, and you have descriptions of these, and you have them in 5 languages, and you have deposit rules and cancellation policies and all of this information that has been built out in all of these different languages for your channel specific. And now in a CRS, you have this for all of your channels, that this information, the CRS will automatically build that data in all of your languages optimized already because the CRS can optimize what those descriptions and things are for its own purposes of distribution, and create this environment where the CRM has all of that information natively. So when let's say a reservation comes through the application, regardless of, again, how the reservation was created, the information that comes along with that reservation, you're not missing any data in the CRM for that. So now you have the guest record with all relevant profile fields because all of that was natively built, and you have all of the reservation data by channel that it was distributed to in all of your languages that are now housed inside of with that guest record. What that empowers hotels to do is to not spend hours and hours and hours mapping manually and building out all of these tables to map this information and recreating descriptions and dealing with translations and all of that. It also means that their transactional communications and then follow-up marketing materials can tie into that information that they didn't have to manually build. They build it once in the CRS where it belongs for distribution, and then that just naturally carries over. So we tried to solve both of these kind of concerns, one with the centralized, robust, enhanced guest information that's less fragmented, and then again to reduce manual effort on setting these applications up and making them talk together.
So the marketing department in the hotel group, for instance, was scrambling to gather all this disparate data, if they were even looking for it.
Yeah, usually, yes. So you're pulling it from a bunch of different sources and then trying to put it into sometimes a separate application for your marketing information. Trying to put it together can be frustrating, confusing, and manual. But also the data that's available to you then to communicate with. So, and I don't just mean your guest name and email address of how you can communicate to them, but I mean all of the information that's relevant to them about what they have done at your outlet, right? You want to know truly what they've done there, and not just in code values, right? So if you, for instance, are trying to send a follow-up message to somebody about a room that they stayed in most environments, you can have the, say, room type name and full description based on the channel that they were in, and you can probably have it in multiple languages, but you would have had to build and map that out manually in both applications, right? So if you wanted to include that, hey, Jason, thank you for staying in our double queen bedded room on the tower side of the property in XYZ location. How did you enjoy this particular feature of that room? You have all of those details already because, again, it was built in your distribution platform and it passes it directly in. So marketing team just tags it.
How does this empower loyalty programs?
That's a good question. It lets you engage with your guests in a more personalized way. So when you don't have the ability to really know what people are doing in your outlets and on your property, you're stuck with some limited insights as to that guest, right? And this could be true for whether you have like a full-blown loyalty program or you're just communicating with people that have stayed. You're not as effective in being able to actually communicate with them in a more personalized fashion that meets them where they are versus just based on maybe the minimum values that you have from a reservation they had once, right? Now you can start capturing more behaviors, you can start capturing more information about their journey, collecting that into your CRM, and then utilizing that for marketing or transactional communications in whatever way makes sense. Aside from that, you have this unified information about your guest. And that means that operationally, you have less inefficiencies. There's less manual data entry, less reconciliation. less time the staff has to consume trying to figure out who this guest is. Are they a VIP? Are they not? Have they stayed before? Have they not? Did they like their stay before? Did they survey, give you a good response in a past stay or a poor one? What can you do to resolve or fix that? And when it comes to loyalty programs, it just takes it that next level further, where you know that it was their birthday and maybe their wedding anniversary, or you know that they tend to book in one channel but not get all the benefits from your program. So you can communicate that to them. You know where they're at with their journey with you as a loyal customer. You know if they're going to earn something for the stay or not. You know whether to give them an upgrade or some kind of ancillary something to make them happy. You can surprise and delight them easier. So it makes that whole guest satisfaction much simpler, because you have all of this information again in one place.
So what kind of feedback are you getting from, your more savvy clients that are really taking full advantage of your integration?
So a couple of things. We have, so one client came back after, I want to say within their shortly after their launch, and I can't remember the exact timeline, but they experienced significant growth in their membership sign up because it wasn't a fragmented process. It was directly throughout the booking journey. It's integrated within, in some cases, some of our integrations to PMS allow for this as well. So there's a more integrated journey from a loyalty standpoint. So they had 45,000 or more new loyalty members, I think within the first year of launching their rewards program, which was a significant increase for them.
Yeah.
Another was able to, it resulted in, I'm just looking at the numbers here, over 31,000 member reservations and 66,000 and a half member room nights in their first year, which is significant increase from what they had before. And this is because, and these are clients that are using all of our solutions here. So they're able to generate their revenue management. They're using our revenue management tools for managing that whole area of their business. And then our CRS, our booking engine, our CRM, putting it together. One client had said that their year-to-date average occupancy increased by 19.7%, which reached 80% for them over year-to-date. Their ADR rose to $215, which was an 118% ARI growth for them, which is significant.
Yeah.
We had some others that we're seeing improved channel mix distribution compared to what they were doing in the previous year prior to launching. And they're talking a lot about the digital marketing experience, because we also provide digital marketing services too, which again help to tie some of this together, that they're able to provide some actionable insights for their campaigns, right? So now they can optimize their campaigns based on some of the insights that they're gathering within their booking process in a better channel mix. So we're seeing some very good results, I think.
Yeah. I feel like we should have prefaced this with like a part 1, part 2, 3,
Okay.
and 4. We're like the Rocky movies. I mean, we do need to wrap up. And again, that's pretty impressive. Again, I found it interesting that, again, I think that other people aren't willing, other people's tools aren't taking them as far as what your native integrations are taking. And I wanted to probe into that a little bit. And so you've given us some insight. So I appreciate you joining me.
Thank you.
You
It's
bet.
been lovely.